Sydney. It's Australia's most popular tourist destination. It's home to over 5 million people, but for 1/3 of every day, no one can fly in and out of the city of Sydney. And that's where this airport is stepping in to fill that curfew gap, because when Western Sydney International Airport opens, planes will be able to fly in and out of here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is the huge construction site of the new Western Sydney International Airport. Construction began here back in 2018, and when it opens, they're expecting 10 million passengers a year to come through the new airport. So I'm back at Western Sydney International Airport because I was curious to have a look around and see what's changed from last time I was here, and hopefully answer the big question: when exactly is this place going to open? Western Sydney International is Sydney's second airport. Now, if you've ever flown into Sydney, you've probably come through Sydney Kingsford Smith. Well, Western Sydney International is about 45 kilometres in a straight line if you head due west from there. And today the WSI team have agreed to show me around so I can show you exactly what is happening at Sydney's newest airport. Well, this is the first stop on the tour, and I think they've started on a bit of a high, to be honest, because I'm standing, you can see behind me, this is the main runway.
We are standing on the eastern end of the runway right now. The total length is 3.7 kilometres, 45 metres wide, and we've got a shoulder on either side, so another 15 metres on either end.
So you can get A380s?
We sure can.
Yeah.
Aircraft of any size will be able to, take off and land on this runway. You can see that the end here is concreted, so you can imagine aircraft more stationary at these points and making turns, which is why it is concreted, as opposed to the main length of the runway, which is comprised of various layers of road base as well as asphalt, which will commence later this year.
So you've got one runway at the moment here, this main 0823 runway.
05.
Sorry, 05. That's bad pilot. I should know what the reciprocal is. That's my bad maths. Do you ever get used to all the noise in the background?
Yes, you do.
You do. I'm not. So this here, this actually is going to be the taxiway. This is taxiway Charlie. Look how thick this thing is. I was just told by one of the engineers here, this is 470 millimetres thick. It's almost half a metre thick. And you can see behind me, there's a difference between the two levels. That's because the rest of this here hasn't been filled in yet. So all of this taxiway, all of taxiway Charlie, and all the other taxiways here as well, are going to be basically made of concrete this thick, half a metre thick. The terminal's changed a lot since I was here last time. So you've got glass in there?
We do. That's only just come up in the last month or so.
How's the terminal going to be divided up?
We're actually going to have domestic and international under the same roof, so it's just one terminal building. Basically, you will go through security and then you'll kind of venture off to either the left or right, depending on if you're going on a domestic or international flight. Departures happens on level 2, irrespective of if it's domestic or international. Domestic passengers will also arrive on that same level, whereas our international arrivals will come in on level 3. So this temporary fencing here distinguishes between our two contractors working on the project. Where we're standing is the taxiway, and behind the fence is the apron.
Can we have a look inside?
We can.
When are you going to open, Sam? What's the opening date?
Late 2026, Steph, will be open, ready to go, customers and cargo.
What is the plan? How do you open an airport which has never operated before?
So the first thing is, look, we think construction will be ready. We know construction is going to be completed mid-2025 or in 2025, right? So it's not just a matter of opening the doors and letting everyone in. We have to test everything. We have to break stuff. We have to flush all the toilets at once. We have to make sure that the whole place is going to be able to withstand that. We have to test our customer service systems, our customer-facing systems. We have to test our navigation. We have to test the ILS, the Cat 3B, all that kind of stuff we need to test. So it's not just a matter of, oh, hey, here's an airport, in you come. We just need to test everything, make sure it works, which is very important.
Now, when you test the ILS, and you need pilots and aircraft to test the ILS for you. No, bear with me. You might not know where I'm going with this. Can I be the first to land on the runway?
Like I said, I'm working on it, mate. All right. I know some people. I work for the airport. We'll see how we go.
Watch this space. So now we're in the main terminal area. We've moved across to the other side of the airport, so in the main terminal building. And we're walking up to what they're calling the West Pier. And now we've got a really good close-up of the glass panels which have gone in as well.
It's really starting to look like an airport just because of that glass facade going on. And yeah, we're up on level 3, so picture international arrivals walking through here and off to security before going to baggage reclaim.
So we've just come up to the second level now of the new terminal building. This is where the international arrivals hall is going to be. So coming in on an international flight, this is where you'll be getting out as a passenger. These are the new windows that we were just looking at from the outside. So it's not totally sealed because on the other side of the terminal you can see there's no windows in there at the moment. So now we're on the eastern side of the terminal building. This is I thought it's where the terminal building ends, but you can see behind me, this is a huge structure. It keeps going off into the distance there. Down below me, this is where the car parks are being mapped out at the moment. In the distance as well, the Metro Rail project, which is being developed here at the same time as the construction of the terminal is going on. That's going to give you rail connections through to the whole Metro Rail network. So you've got a few different choices of how you're going to get to this airport. We're down here in the basement now, the basement level of the terminal itself, so all the international arrivals and departures where I just was, that's above our heads. If ever you've wondered where your bags go, when you drop them in and you check them in before you get on your aircraft, this is going to be the baggage handling area. These conveyor belts, this is kind of like Indiana Jones, you know that sequence when they're going down the mine shaft? There's kilometres of this all the way around the airport here, which are going to take all the bags from check-in all the way through safely onto the aircraft themselves. I've never actually been down in a place like this before in an airport either, so for me, as someone who loves aviation and loves seeing this stuff, I find it fascinating. I think earlier in this video I referred to Western Sydney International Airport as Sydney's second airport. But the more time I spend here, the more I realised I don't actually think that's a fair way to describe it. It's not a secondary airport to Sydney Kingsford Smith. I think this airport will be serving an entirely different purpose in its own right. Not only will the lack of curfew mean that aircraft will be able to come in here 24/7, which is not only good for passengers, because more volume could potentially mean lower prices, but it's also good for freight and subsequently for the economy in this region as well. And as well as all the aircraft movements, I think in the airport itself, they have an opportunity here at Western Sydney International to put in some new technologies that can make the overall customer journey a lot faster, and hopefully a lot more enjoyable too. I will, however, be holding Sam and the rest of the team here accountable for my request to be one of the first pilots to land here. If that doesn't happen, and there's a strong likelihood it won't, and you still want to see what it's like to land a small plane at an international airport, this video is me doing exactly that.